On July 24, 2025, the world lost Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, at age 71, closing the book on a legend who defined not just an era of wrestling, but an entire generation's sense of spectacle and heroism. Hogan was more than a wrestler. He was a cultural icon, a household name whose signature mustache and bandana became symbols of strength and resilience. For decades, he inspired millions with his larger-than-life persona, electrifying arenas and television screens around the globe. His passing marked the end of an era, leaving fans and fellow wrestlers alike reflecting on the indelible mark he left on the world of sports entertainment. His death in Clearwater, Florida, was initially reported as a heart attack, a sudden and tragic event that shocked the wrestling community. But as the news spread, it was revealed that Hogan had been quietly battling leukemia for some time, a struggle he chose to keep private from the public eye. The revelation added a layer of poignancy to his final days, painting a picture of a man who faced his greatest challenge away from the spotlight, surrounded by only his closest loved ones. Across the world, fans and celebrities mourned, sharing memories of his charisma, his unforgettable catchphrases, and the way he brought people together. Vigils were held in cities from Tampa to Tokyo, and social media overflowed with tributes from those who grew up watching him battle in the ring. Fellow wrestlers, actors, and musicians spoke of his generosity and the inspiration he provided, both inside and outside the squared circle. The initial story seemed clear: a beloved icon succumbing to illness, his final days marked by a private struggle that only a few truly understood. Newspapers and television specials recounted his legendary matches, his rise from humble beginnings, and the way he changed the face of professional wrestling forever. For many, it was a time to grieve and to celebrate a life lived in the spotlight. But as the days passed and the tributes faded, new questions began to emerge, not from tabloids or gossip columns, but from within Hogan's own family. Whispers of uncertainty and confusion started to circulate, as those closest to him struggled to reconcile the official story with what they had witnessed in his final weeks. Nearly a month later, the accepted narrative began to unravel. Details that once seemed insignificant were suddenly cast in a new light, and the timeline of Hogan's illness and passing was called into question. The sense of closure that fans and family had sought was slipping away, replaced by a growing sense of unease. The focus shifted from mourning to mystery, as unsettling details surfaced. Reports of unusual activity in the days leading up to his death, conflicting medical records, and discrepancies in witness statements all contributed to a mounting sense of suspicion. What seemed a straightforward tragedy was suddenly cast in doubt. The world, once united in grief, now found itself gripped by intrigue, as the story of Hulk Hogan's final moments became a puzzle with missing pieces. The Hogan family found themselves thrust back into the spotlight, this time facing a controversy that was deeply personal and painfully public. The media frenzy reignited, and the family's grief was compounded by the pressure to answer questions they themselves could not fully comprehend. The world realized the story of Hulk Hogan's final moments was far from over. What began as a somber farewell was now evolving into a complex investigation, with new revelations threatening to change everything we thought we knew about his passing. The case of his death was about to become far more complicated as authorities reopened their investigation and the search for answers began anew. For fans, family, and the world at large, the legacy of Hulk Hogan now carried a new and unexpected chapter, one filled with questions, controversy, and the hope that the truth would finally come to light. The first cracks in the official story appeared when Brooke Hogan, Hulk's daughter, posted a cryptic message on Instagram. She revealed that, in the hours following her father's sudden death, she was contacted not just by family friends, but by police officers and nurses who had been present at the scene that day. Their messages were urgent, and their tone was unmistakably serious. Brooke's post quickly caught the attention of fans and the media, who began to wonder if there was more to the story than what had been reported so far. These professionals, who risked their own positions to reach out, urged her to seek out the police body cam footage and the original 911 tapes from that night. They hinted, sometimes directly and sometimes in veiled language, that the evidence captured on those recordings could change everything the public thought they knew about Hulk Hogan's final moments. Their message was clear. What happened at Hogan's home might be far more complex and possibly more troubling than the simple narrative of a medical emergency that had been reported. The professionals seemed to suggest that there were details being left out, and that the truth was hidden in plain sight. Suddenly, the focus of the investigation shifted. Instead of just asking what caused Hogan's heart attack, people began to question the circumstances surrounding the emergency response itself. Why did the first responders feel compelled to reach out to the family, even at the risk of their own careers? Was there something about the way the scene was handled, or about what was said and done in those critical moments that made them uneasy? The anxiety and urgency in their communications suggested that they believed something important had been overlooked or deliberately concealed. The existence of this body cam footage and the 911 tapes, which had not been mentioned in any official reports, ignited a firestorm of speculation. Journalists, fans, and even legal experts began to demand answers, pushing for the release of the recordings. What could possibly be on those tapes that would alter the narrative of a straightforward heart attack? Was there evidence of foul play, or did the recording simply reveal a chaotic and mishandled emergency response? The professionals' insistence on reviewing the footage and tapes opened a Pandora's box. What had seemed like a settled matter was now a public mystery, with new questions emerging every day and the media digging deeper into every detail. As the world watched, the search for truth had only just begun, and the answers promised to be more shocking than anyone could have imagined. Spurred by these warnings, Brooke Hogan began her quest for the truth. She tried to obtain the body cam footage and 911 tapes through official channels but was quickly blocked. Authorities locked down all evidence, offering no explanation. Brooke's frustration grew. Why was she, the deceased's daughter, denied access to public records? Her efforts became public, transforming her from grieving daughter to determined investigator. She made it clear her brother Nick was helping, showing a united front. Brooke's fight isn't about blame, but about transparency and closure. Her persistence has kept the questions alive, ensuring the mystery won't fade quietly. The search for answers became a public campaign. The struggle for information exposed deep rifts within the Hogan family. Brooke revealed she had no authority over her father's estate or final arrangements. Control rested with Hogan's widow, Skye Daly. Brooke was excluded from key decisions, even missing her father's private funeral. The family's divisions forced Brooke to seek answers publicly, unable to get them privately. She clarified her estrangement from her father was not out of bitterness, but complex circumstances. Her quest is about love and closure, not inheritance. The public now witnessed not just a mystery, but a family drama unfolding in the shadow of a legend's death. Brooke's campaign for the footage is as much about reclaiming her father's story as it is about the truth. Amid the controversy, the Clearwater police maintained their stance. The investigation into Hogan's death was ongoing, but there were no signs of foul play. Yet the case remained open and the evidence sealed, fueling confusion. The police confirmed communication with Brooke and Nick, but details remained private. Their refusal to release the footage, despite ruling out crime, sent mixed signals. The investigation's length and secrecy suggested unresolved questions. The public was left to wonder, what's on the footage that requires such scrutiny? The official story no longer seemed so simple. Brooke also raised concerns about the medical side of her father's death. She was told an autopsy would be performed, but details were scarce. Doubts surfaced about the credentials of the physician who signed the death certificate. Brooke questioned the process, seeking clarity on whether the heart attack and leukemia were properly investigated. She stated that, if she ever received the autopsy results, she'd keep them private. Her quest was for closure, not publicity. The lack of clear medical answers only deepened the mystery. With the autopsy in limbo and the death certificate in question, speculation grew. The true cause of Hulk Hogan's death remained unresolved. As Brooke's search intensified, so did public speculation. She pleaded for respect and caution, urging people not to misquote her or fuel wild theories. Her focus was on facts, not conspiracies. Her concerns came from credible sources. Brooke reminded everyone that no answer would bring her father back. Her quest was for peace, not revenge. She shared her vulnerability, asking for empathy as she grieved under the public eye. The story was no longer just about a celebrity's death, but about a daughter's search for truth. Brooke's plea was simple: let her grieve honestly while she seeks answers. The human element at the heart of the story could not be ignored. The controversy now centers on one thing: the police body cam footage, a silent witness to the events that unfolded. In a case shrouded in questions, this footage is more than just a recording. It's the missing puzzle piece that could finally bring clarity to a tangled narrative. For Brooke, it's the only path to certainty and closure. She spent countless nights replaying what-ifs, searching for answers that only the footage can provide. Without it, every explanation feels incomplete, every memory haunted by doubt. For the public, it's about trust. Why keep the footage secret if there's no foul play? The community's faith in its institutions is at stake, and transparency is the only way to restore it. People want to know, what really happened, and why is the truth being withheld? The footage has become a symbol of hidden truth, its secrecy fueling suspicion. Each day it remains locked away, rumors and theories multiply, eroding confidence in the very systems meant to protect us. Releasing it, or at least explaining its lockdown, is crucial for public confidence. Without transparency, justice feels out of reach, and the legal process itself comes under scrutiny. What could be so significant on that tape? Medical negligence, environmental factors, or something else entirely? The possibilities are endless, and each unanswered question only deepens the sense of unease. The footage promises a definitive account, free from spin. It's the one piece of evidence that can cut through speculation and rumor, offering a clear, unbiased perspective on what truly happened. Until it's seen, the mystery lingers, and closure remains out of reach. Every hour that passes without answers is another hour of pain for those left behind. For a grieving family and a mourning public, ambiguity is corrosive. It eats away at hope, leaving only frustration and sorrow in its wake. The final chapter of Hulk Hogan's life remains unwritten until the truth is revealed. Only then can healing begin, and the story finally find its ending.